Okay, so this is the Brightroom heavy duty 5-tier steel shelf. You can essentially make a steel shelf with 5 levels, or alternatively, right? You can also make two different shelves like this, which are of like in this side. That is like a 3-tier shelf and 1-tier shelf. Both of them like big enough, right? This way you will have a lot of advantages where you can basically modify it the way you want and have two shelves instead of one. It really depends on the choice. For example, I have some boxes which are really large. In that case, having a shelf like this would be beneficial. It's just that right now I'm trying to make a shelf for small items. So I'm going to make a full 5-tier shelf. But technically it is possible to make a two shelves like this that you are seeing here. Let me open this and show how everything is, and I am going to show you complete assembly video and then do a review. Okay, so I have kept out all the parts. These are the 5 wooden boards which are going to be in the shelf. And this is the box that you need to be careful that you don't lose. It has a rubber mallet. Like this, it's made of rubber, so you don't really damage anything. Then you have this kind of shelf caps, and these are some of the instruction and screws and few of the screws. And then these are this kind of slots that I have provided so that you can make different stuff. So that's all there is. Make sure you have all of these things and you don't accidentally lose it. So now we are going to start making stuff. Okay, so you want this cap that essentially come in this red colored bags. You want to get 4 of these caps, and then you want to get this rod. I want you to notice something. This one says A, but I think it's a big circle and there is this small notch, and the small notch should push to the bottom. So all you have to do is take this notch, make sure the smaller holes, the big holes are at the top and the smaller slots are at the bottom, and then just put it inside this slots here. So there's like opening available, and what you actually want to do is you want to just put this thing inside. They are like of sorts. So let me show it to you. So you can see how I am essentially just sliding it in, and yes, you can see how I have slid the notches in. So you want to do 4 of these. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. I am going to essentially do this for 3 more. So in total 4. And this will basically make the 4 sides, the 4 initial pillars, the bottom pillars of your whole shelves. Next, you want to take this one, right? There are like different kind of slots, the bigger one and smaller one. And you want to take the smaller one here, right? Because these are the side slots. So all you have to do is lift the 2 of them, right? Notice the post caps that we added, the black caps, they are at the bottom, right? And what we are going to do is we are going to place this, connect this both here. So you are supposed to connect it at level 2. So what do I mean by that? So notice the way I am holding it. When I hold it like this, the one part that says D, it should be outside, and this part should be inside, because this is where the shelf will rest. So the flat horizontal part is essentially like this. And you want to place these 2 black slots here inside the bottom 2 slots. Not the bottom 2, but leave the last one and put it in the slot 2nd and 3rd from the bottom, the way I am doing it. So something like this. Let me show you a video. Let me show you. If you come closer, you can see it. And essentially, I am placing it like this. So if you notice, this thing comes out from here. And then same on this other side here, you want to place it. Oh, sorry, the black slot should be at the bottom. Okay, so let's try again here. You might need somebody to hold it because it's not okay. Yeah. So finally, it is being held here. Careful, my daughter. Yep. And then so I'm essentially putting it in 3rd and 4th slot, right? And once this goes in, you are supposed to make this stand up now. The way I'm going to do it, like this. and then you are supposed to hammer this using the rubber hammer mallet. So I'm going to connect this with the help of somebody, and then I'm going to show you other side. But I'm supposed to hammer it like this. So with somebody's help, when two people are holding it, I essentially use the hammer to put this down, and I'm going to do the same thing again with the other side as well. Take the smaller slot and exactly the same I'm going to put it in. Once again, the flat part should be. So this is difficult to show because I need somebody to hold it, but I'm going to show you how to connect the central part, which is very similar to this. So that is the length of this thing. I'm going to show you how to use the hammer to put it in. Ready, and you are going to now take this bigger one and you are going to connect them lengthwise. So what that means is, you can see I'm essentially using this to hold it for a second, and on this side I'm using to do the same thing, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this here. Once again, note the horizontal part so that it's, but this time I'm going to put it on in here. So on the other side, it's on the length side. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to put this, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So all from three sides now this will be connected. Okay. So now this time, because it's standing on three sides, I don't need another person to hold it. So it's much easier to show you. So let me show it to you here. You can see it up close. So if you come here, this is how I have connected everything. So if you look here, you want to essentially take this here and put it in the second and third hole from the bottom, like this. You might need to adjust it a little bit because it is sleeping on one side, so it's little bit. Okay. Okay. Hold it here like this. And then on the other side, yeah, so now this thing is in, and then on this side here, I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, this one goes much more smoother, right? And then I'm going to take a hammer and I'm just going to hammer. Notice this thing is coming out from this holes here, right? And okay, little bit more careful. I need to hold it from one side. Okay, you can see it is in now. Let me go from inside and hold it. Yeah. Now I am holding this. It is how it went inside. Now you can see it is almost standing from every side. Now this part will be much more easier, which is placing this thing in. Yep. And essentially if you want to remove it from both the sides, then hammer it again down. I'm going to show you the same thing. We have connected it, only this time it will be much more easier for the other ones. After I do that, the next levels, because this whole thing is now standing up, so the shelf will be more sturdier and easy to put in and easy to show you for just one person. So now the next step is essentially putting this thing in. That is the first level or the bottom level. And notice how I am sliding it in. Okay, so you can see how this thing just fits in, and you have the first level ready. Next, we are going to once again put these two smaller ones here and here to make the level 2. We are going to continue to, and then we are going to put the two horizontal ones to make the level 2. Okay, next, you want to decide which level you want. You can choose any level you want. I want to do it like halfway here. You can also later on remove it and put it, but you can see how I am going to put it halfway, right? As soon as I put it in, you can see it here like this. It goes in a little bit. This one was much easy to show. If you notice, the whole, these things came out of the big holes, and just slowly slide it in. And then you're just supposed to use the hammer. Use it both sides. And if you notice, this thing has went inside and it's like fit inside. Now you need to be very, very careful that you make sure that everything is at the same level. Hence my next suggestion is to essentially put a beam on this side so that you can essentially make the same level. You can also count, which is much more easier. But what you essentially want is you want it to match exactly on both the sides. So essentially on this side I'm putting this now, the bigger one, and same I'm going to do on the other side, and I'm going to put this inside. I might have to pull it a little bit inside, but once you do it correctly, then everything should just fit in. And yep, and if you notice, now it is getting, because if the hole levels are the same, then it is just much easier to putting it in. And notice now both of them are going in the holes because I used the right level. So make sure you are just counting it. And now the same thing, just hammer it down. And same we are going to do for the smaller one here, and then another bigger one here. So we'll have the whole thing ready. Okay, so after putting that, I have connected this rod and this rod as well, the same exact way, nothing different. Now all I have to do is slide this in. This should not be difficult at all, because now the whole thing is standing. So you are just making sure that okay. Yep, and you can see this thing is just slid in, and now this thing is inside. Yep, you might have to push it a little bit so that it's like completely inside, just like the other one. But that's it. Next, we are going to connect the other rods. And from this red packet, you will find this, which is E and F. Notice it says E and this one says F. They are both connected when you get it. So you are supposed to remove them. You are going to separate them. So they are essentially connected like this. You are going to separate that. But you might have to do little finicky stuff, right? So you can notice how I did it. And now it's stuck. So I have to do do a little bit of finicky stuff so that it gets opened easily. But once you do that, you can see how it came out. You have to move it around a little bit so that it comes out. Next, you want to take one of these rod here, and you are going to use this E and F to connect it. Okay, so now this part is actually quite complicated, so you need to pay attention. So first of all, this is E as in elephant, right? Notice there is a circular hole. This hole should be at the bottom. Also, you notice these two rods here, or these two slots, they are supposed to go in not the first one but the second hole. So see the way I am doing it. Yes, notice how this thing went in, and then you need to pull it up. You are essentially pulling it up with one hand. Next, you want to take one of these, right? 1 second, I want you to notice something. The smaller part is down and the bigger hole is up. And what you are doing is you are just going to place this over here like this. Now it might be a little bit difficult to adjust, but that is expected. Okay, once you have done this, now it is kind of connected but can still fall down. So you want to take this F as in fort, right? And you want to place it like this. Notice the way I am putting it. It is this edge, or this fancy or like the flat edge is at the top, and you want to make sure that these things go into the E slots. So I want you to notice from here. So next you want to take this one. Once again, notice this F, this part is at the top, and the two slots that are present on the E1, you want to align them right in the same location. Notice how I am essentially aligned them. So this is kind of difficult, so you need one more person to hold this, because it's quite difficult, right? But what you are supposed to do is, I want to notice something, right? For all of these things, the bigger hole is at the top and the smaller is at the bottom. But for this one, it is the reverse. The F is reverse, where the the smaller hole will be at the top and bigger hole will be at the bottom. So F is reverse technically. So what you are supposed to do it, you are supposed to place it here, have somebody hold this, somebody else essentially holding the bigger hole here, and then from this side here, this circular hole should be at the bottom. So you are supposed to, while you are holding this with one hand, right, and you have essentially aligned the holes and everything, what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to put the E. Once again I want to notice the circular hole is at the bottom, and you are supposed to essentially just place it in here like this. So this is how I am doing it. A little bit difficult. You definitely need one more person to hold it. But essentially you are supposed to connect this. So what that means is, you can see how I have put this thing in. I am essentially aligning the bigger hole so that it fits correctly. And you have to push it in. You also have to push it in inside here as well. So you need somebody to hold it. We are supposed to just push it in. It's definitely a bit more difficult. You definitely need one more person's hand help. One point, you have to press the E in, because if you don't press it, I'm going to show you one thing on the second slot as well. Essentially you have to press it in, and once you have done this, now if you notice, this thing and this thing are connected correctly. The only thing is not connected properly is this one. So you are supposed to hammer this down, because this is supposed to go down. So what that means is, because the bigger hole is sitting at the top, so you should take a hammer and put it inside here, like this. Yeah. And if you notice something, maybe it goes in little more. Yep, it is almost there. Perfect. Yep. So let me show you from this side. So if you notice something, this slots that were coming out of E, that is the outside part, are almost at the top part, this thing. And now essentially this thing is connected to the okay. Yep. So this is the bottom rod and this is the top rod. And if you notice here, a small separation here, because they are seamlessly connected. And if you have done correctly, then they will be seamlessly connected. It will almost feel like a single line. Notice this, there is like no gap here. So yeah. Once more as to how it looks from this side. What you are supposed to essentially do is, notice this is E, which is essentially going into this rod here like this. Next, notice how this is not fitting in. Oh sorry, it should be reversed. Notice how this is not really going in. So you are supposed to press it. Sorry, like this. You are essentially supposed to press it. If you apply force, then this will essentially go inside, and then it will be connected. I don't want to press it here right now to show you, because then it will be connected permanently, and then I will have trouble putting the other rod in. But essentially, that is what you are doing. You are essentially taking this E, this top rod, and then the bottom rod that you have connected, and then this F, and you are just essentially connecting both of them so that both the rods are essentially connected. So let me show you again on this side now. So this is connected here. I am taking the E, and once again I am putting it in here. So what you are essentially doing is I am essentially making sure that the E is connected. And now I am taking this F and I am essentially placing it, and I am going to press it. Notice, did you hear the noise? If you look at from this side, you will be able to see it. Notice I have to essentially press it. Notice how I pressed it. Same thing here, I pressed it again, and now this thing is connected. Okay, yeah, this is essentially now connected. I have to move it up that this is seamlessly connected. Right? Now once again I need to press it a little bit. Yeah. And again press it here as well. And now it is just a matter of using the hammer to put this down. And if you notice this thing here, these two are now seamlessly connected. So E, this rod, and then put the F, which you have to press, and then use the hammer to put the F down completely. So the hammer, I'm going to use it. So yeah, you want to essentially, you can see it's going down slowly. Yeah, and it's supposed to just go in down. Yeah. Notice how this thing is essentially coming up here, and that's what is supposed to happen. Okay, once again, because this part is difficult, I'm going to show it to you. This is E. Notice the small circle at the bottom. I'm going to put it here like this. Next, I'm going to place this. Yep. Next, I'm going to place this thing. Oh, there are two of them. Sorry. Next, I'm going to essentially place this thing here. Right? Next, I'm going to take an F and place it. Next, you want to take this F here and you want to essentially just press it in. Notice how I am pressing it. Notice it did not go in here. Now it went inside. This thing should essentially come outside completely. Right? And next, I just have to hammer it down. I put it inside a little bit, but the rest of the stuff going down is supposed to be with the hammer. You can see, put the E, put the top rod, and then put the F. So you can see here this thing here. Once again, this is E. Notice the circle at the bottom. I'm putting it in here. Next, I'm putting the top rod. I totally have to press it in little bit. Next, these two are essentially connected. Next, I'm taking the F. And once again, I need to essentially press it in. It is not just about, notice how you heard that noise. It was this thing getting pressed in. Notice this thing is still not inside. So I need to apply force and pressure here. But once I do it, now I am able to do it because I did the 3. Now I can do this like much more comfortably and push it down. And these are the steps essentially. Yeah. And now everything is inside, and now it's just a matter of hammering it. So essentially just taking the hammer. It is essentially connected, but just and then putting the hammer in. That is all the steps that you need. I just need to do it from the other angle because it's not easy to hammer from this side. With my left. But that's what you need to do. E from the outside, F from put this top rod, then put the F and try to press the F inside and then hammer it down so that it gets tightened. Next, you want this slot of sword and you want to essentially place it here. Similar to what we did for the bottom shelves. You might have to pull this a little bit inside. But yes, just press this thing in so that you can see this thing comes outside. Okay. Next, you are supposed to put this rod here. Same as previously. But all you have to do is put this thing inside and then use the hammer to hammer it down. So notice how these two things come inside. Now it's just much easy to do because the whole thing is standing. And then just notice how I'm using hammer to put it inside. And that's it. And now you're going to do the other three as well to make the whole line. Okay. Next, every time you put a level, you want to put the board in because if you put all the levels in that tattoo board, it will become difficult. So definitely recommend to put the boards first as you go up the levels. And now that's what I'm doing. So I've taken this board here and just essentially placing it here. And slide it. Now same, I'm going to do 2 more levels. Right? But once again, make the level, that is put this thing here, all the 4, put the board, and then final one again, put everything at the top and put the board. So let me make the next level here, which I'm going to do like this. And then I'm going to create one more level exactly like this, and then I'm going to show you how to do the top part. Next, that I've connected everything, I'm going to put the next board in and in here. Once again, not at all difficult. All you have to do is place the board in here, and you notice it's not, this thing is not sliding completely, so you might have to press it. But now this level is also ready. Now we are going to next to the final level, and this is actually much easier to show now. What you are essentially supposed to do is go to the topmost level. Notice this what I am doing it. Okay, it's a little bit tricky in terms of. Okay, notice how it went in. Same in here and slide it in. And that's where we are going to connect all the four. And then I'm going to put the board in. And then we are going to put the end caps, which I'm going to show you after that. And now all the four sides are essentially connected. Next we are going to place this is quite heavy, so you have to be very careful on how you move it though. So I definitely recommend to build it where you know where it's easy. Okay, you can touch it from the top to make sure everything is slid in. You can also see it from here. So now the whole thing is set up. Next you have this. Next you have these things here. These are the end caps. You essentially want to place them like this at the top in all the four corners. Notice they have given a lot more end caps, and the reason for this is if you create two separate ones, like one level and two separate ones, they essentially have 16 of these end caps that you will need. But because we are making a single shelf, and hence we only need 8. But if we were going to use like two shelves, like I had shown you previously in the photo, then you would actually need 60. So that is the reason of why there is 16 instead of 4. So definitely expect more extra ones if you are making a single shelf. And now this thing is connected, and the last one. And then they essentially provided this anti-tipping kit. Now in my case I want to move it and put it in some other place. I'm not going to show you how to set up the anti-tipping. But definitely recommend to set the anti-tipping, and also make sure that you put heavy stuff at the bottom and light stuff on the top so it doesn't fall down and hurt anybody. But still it's quite sturdy and very heavy, so you should not be too worried about stuff though. So yeah, this is actually feels quite sturdy and nice. Definitely a bit difficult to make on one side, but overall it's very solid product and heavy, very great for shelves. So happy with it. Okay, thank you.